Now, the United States is on the eve of ushering in a new wave of politics. The inauguration of Donald Trump just hours away. It's going to take place at 3 in the morning, our time. You can watch all the coverage on Sky News Live. It'll be your second night staying up till 3 a.m. because I know many of you were up at the same hour watching the hostages released last night. Now, for more details of what it's like on the ground, I spoke to my colleague Chris Kenny a little earlier. Chris Kenny, thanks for joining us in Washington. You're there, of course, for Trump's inauguration. There'll be billions of people tuned in around the world. What can we expect tonight at the inauguration?
Great to talk to you, Sharri. It's bitterly cold here in DC, about -4 at the moment. It's going to be -10 tomorrow on Inauguration Day, which is why everything's been moved inside. When you say what to expect with Donald Trump, well, expect the unexpected, I suppose. He really is promising to hit the ground running. He says that once he's been sworn in, once the inauguration's over, he's going to sign 100 executive orders in the first day. A lot of his supporters believe this. They really believe he understands he's got a window of opportunity here. He has to act quickly, so especially in the first 2 years before the midterms could knock out his congressional majority and the like. So we expect Trump to go full speed ahead with his agenda, which I suppose the world is already seeing now, even before his inauguration. But after about midday tomorrow, look out.
Chris, quite a few high-profile Australians are over there for this special event. Can you tell us a bit about who'll be there?
Well, I haven't seen all of them. I believe Gina Rinehart's in town. I know Joel Fitzgibbon, the former Labor Defence Minister, will be in town. There's a lot of people flooding in from all around the United States, of course. It's going to be fascinating to see who Donald Trump has in the rotunda, in the Capitol building behind me. Of course, the whole thing moved inside, so they can only have about 600 guests in that rotunda under the dome of the Capitol. So those 600, when you make allowances for the officials and the former presidents and the like, there's probably going to be 500 of Donald Trump's favourite people. So look out for who gets that gig. And then after that, of course, there's an indoor rally dressed up as the inauguration parade. There'll be balls. There's at least 3 balls the president's going to tomorrow night, one at Union Station just over the way here. So there's a lot of people in town ready for these events, but there's so many punters, so many mainstream Americans, Trump supporters from Louisiana, Texas, Virginia, from the Midwest. They've all come into town. They're disappointed they're not going to get the parade down Pennsylvania Avenue, but they'll be here anyway. I think they'll hit the streets and try and see the motorcade all the same, and many of them planning to be in bars and pubs and watch it all on TV.
Chris, you interviewed Steve Bannon today. He's raised some concerns about Elon Musk and just how close he might be to Donald Trump. How do you see that playing out? And what are Bannon's thoughts on Trump's second term?
Yeah, Steve Bannon was fascinating to catch up with today. He was with a bunch of other right-wing supporters, if you like. They see this as the coming of a new dawn, really. And Steve Bannon, of course, who was the chief strategist that helped get Donald Trump into the White House the first time, and then was one of the many leading figures who left the White House. He ended up serving jail terms after because of some of his for breach of some of the protocols around congressional hearings into January the 6th and all the rest of it. I thought he'd be a little bit more critical of Trump. He's very full-on, very bullish, not just about Trump and his agenda, but also about his team, about Marco Rubio and the rest of them. Didn't take a swipe at Elon Musk. So he thinks that Donald Trump is going to do everything in this term that he wished he had done in the first term. So here's a little bit of what Steve Bannon had to say.
And what he's got is some of his toughest warriors. The most combat hardened are on the outside, but we're all ready to go. We're ready to go, particularly for tomorrow. I would tell your audience, you're about to see in 2025 a year in American politics and international politics, global politics, that has never been seen in modern times. So just stand by, strap in.
Chris, you follow this issue as closely as I do. We saw last night some of the hostages finally released. Trump has signalled a firm commitment to help Netanyahu and Israel. He'll be much stronger than Biden, won't he?
Well, there's no doubt about that, Sharri. We would not see these hostages out overnight today and hopefully more tomorrow without Trump winning the last election. His threats against Hamas and his pressure on Israel have obviously led to this ceasefire and the hostage deal. But like me, Sharri, I'm certain you've felt mixed feelings today, the joy and relief for those hostages, but the anger and outrage at the freeing Hamas terrorists, 30 of them for each one of these innocent Israeli women taken hostage, the other hostages that are dead, the other hostages that are held, the thousands of Israeli lives lost and tens of thousands of Palestinian lives lost, all because of the horrors of Hamas, an organisation that everybody agrees should be destroyed. Yet they're the ones everybody's having to deal with to get these hostages free. The one thing Donald Trump keeps saying, he certainly claimed credit for the ceasefire in his rally in DC just down the road here earlier today, but he's also stressed if Hamas does not stick to the terms of the ceasefire, then there will be all hell to pay. That term he's used in the past. So he's going to make sure that they follow through on this, and let's hope so, because every step of this process is fraught with danger. You are dealing with a terrorist organisation, not any sort of reasonable organisation that's been running Gaza.
Chris, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to your week of coverage in the US.
Thanks, Sharri. You too.